Ziigaat. It's no secret anymore that Ziigaat has been doing good things recently. I mean, good sets like the Odyssey and Arcanis, Arcadia, Australia, collabs, a lot of collabs, the Arete from Fresh Reviews, and now we have the Lush. I don't know why it's called Lush, but if you are a treble sensitive, this might just be for you. Good day guys, this is Practiphile, and today we are going to look at the Ziigaat Lush. Thank you so much Ziigaat for sending this in for a review. My thoughts are my own and they didn't really say anything on how I should make my review. So yeah, let's start with the unboxing. I mean, it's pretty standard. Like in the box, you just, you get the case, pretty standard accessories really, like just like this one here, and then you get the cable and then you get the case. So it's very, very minimalistic. So probably most of the expense is going to the drivers and probably the build quality and the overall sound quality, hopefully. These are priced around $179. So I will be comparing this in my 121 to 250 price category IMs. Man, this is a lot of good sounding sets are here. I mean, like, it's almost full in here. I've got 10 already to recommend. So yeah, let's see how the Ziigaat Lush sounds objectively. The graph of that looks like that one over there. As you can see, like even if I put my neutral target in there, you see that, yep, there's a little bit of sub bass in there, but you also see that the 100 hertz to around maybe 1.5K, they're a little bit pushed forward. What that translates is the tonality can be very intimate sounding. The instruments can be like, everything is just forward sounding. There is a late gain in there around maybe 3K or 2.5K, but there is also a significant cut in the gain around 1000 to 1.5K. So yeah, it may mitigate some of the peaks, like for people who are sensitive to treble, who may not get those natural timbre and cymbals if you're very sensitive to treble. You also see there that the treble is also very relaxed. It's far from being dark. I wouldn't say it's dark. It's just that there's really good balance in everything, like even from the bass to the mids, treble, and yeah, I think that's why they call it Lush. I don't really think it's neutral. I would say it's the Lush kind of neutral. And what I mean by that, it's a warmer approach to neutrality, which is probably not neutral at all. But yeah, I don't really consider this as neutral. Maybe if I call it neutral, it's on the warmer side, but I'm just gonna call it maybe balanced sounding, warm, balanced. It's almost like L-shaped. It's not really like bass head level, but it is thick, man. Like, everything is thick on this one here. Like, the sound is just thick, lush. Like, thick. All right, so that is my objective findings. Let's move on now to my subjective scoring. If you want to know how I score IMs, check my video right here. If you like my content, if you're learning some stuff, consider giving a like, share, or subscribe to my channel if that doesn't hurt you. So let's start with the tonality. The tonality, again, it's like warm balanced sound, maybe warm neutral, but I'll go with the warm balanced sound. And as you can see there, it's really far from my preferred tonality, even with like the neutral tuning. But yeah, there is a good balance of everything. Like, nothing really pops out, or like there's really nothing stands out as bad or annoying. Just a good balance overall. It's very likable. The tonality is very easy to like. So yeah, for the tonality, I'm gonna give it 2.5 for that, because like when I listen to it, I just feel like, oh, there's a change, and in the recent tunings, it's not Harmon, it's not following anything. Probably the JM1 tuning, it's following that, but you just feel like there's this change in its tuning. For the bass is not bad. I'm actually hearing good impact in there and good texture. There's no way this is a bass head level, but sometimes it is, again, with the overall presentation of it, bass can sometimes come across like thick. They're fast, like again, the sub bass, there's sub bass in there. It has actually good quality, but I would have liked the mid bass to kind of like maybe tuck down a little bit so that it's a little bit tighter. So, but yeah, I mean, for the bass, I like the bass. It's 2.5 for me. Moving on to the mids, again, with it's so hard to assess the mids in here, because the mids sometimes are very open sounding with that really lush tonality, but at the same time, it kind of like lacks the clarity for, especially for female vocals. Not even female vocals, like I was listening to Just a Face by Incubus, and there is that part wherein at the end of like the bridge, like and then there's a screech there in the guitar. I thought that kind of, you know, the guitar there needed some intensity, and it's like with the Lush, it's making it a little bit dull, if that makes sense. So it's like taking off the sharpness of everything. That's why my Target has a peak, not really a peak, but it has a significant amount of gain in there, because sometimes I just want guitars to really screech, you know? Like, I just want to feel the intensity of female vocals, but with this kind of tonality, it's just not there. It's like, it's just dull sounding for me. But it's not bad. It's just that maybe, I'm pretty sure there are people who would like this kind of approach. So for the mids, I'm giving it 2.5. Moving on to the treble. Again, as I've mentioned, the treble is far from dark sounding. They actually sound natural. I didn't feel that the cymbals sound splashy or artificial. No complaints about the treble. Maybe it could have been better. It's not really forward. Maybe it could have been better in a way that it's probably just the overall tonality. I think because of that very thick mids in there, it's kind of like making the treble in the background. Again, it's not dark sounding, it's just kind of like in the back seat. So I don't really prefer it forward, but at least there is a little bit of presence there in the treble. So treble, it's not bad, so I'm giving it 2.5. And lastly, for technicalities, the spatial projection on this kind of tuning is really, really different. I mean, there's not really enough depth for me, at least in my ears, but I'm getting a really rounded, expansive stage. Yeah, just really expansive stage, and at the same time intimate. It's so hard to explain. It's so hard to explain. But yeah, I mean, for the technicalities, I think it has decent detail retrieval, but I'll give it 2.5 just because of that spatial projection that it offers, you know, like very, very good spatial projection in my opinion. So that is a total of 12.5, and 12.5 for me is actually A. So yeah, good job Ziigaat for coming up with this kind of tuning and this kind of sound. But it's not flowers and rainbows here, because even if I like it, if I switch to, like, say for example, my other earphones here, like let's say the Studio 4s or the Let's Show STL 2024s, I'm not saying that the Ziigaat Lush has like, it has a wrong tonality. It's just that it feels home listening back to my IAMs, if that makes sense. So yeah, I mean, like, I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm just thinking that if you want something different in your collection, probably the Ziigaat Lush has that kind of character, wherein it's really different in a way that when you listen to the Lush, you feel like, oh, okay, this is a different kind of spatial presentation. And when you listen to your IAMs again, you'd feel like, oh, okay, wow. And then you're reminded of how good your purchases are, if that makes sense. So moving on to the comparisons here, what I have is, let's see. So again, in this price category, man, this is a bloodbath here, but I can't really find a lot of JM1 tuning in here. Probably, okay, there is one, and that is actually the Meyer Audio Slevo Mark II right there. So as you can see there, the Slevo Mark II, graphs wise, it has more sub bass and it has more peaks on 2.5K, a little bit higher in the gain in there, and some treble emphasis. The Slevo Mark II actually sounds cleaner from memory. I mean, like, I ranked it an S because it's good for me. It may look like there's a lot of bass in there on the Mark II, but the Lush actually sounds thicker, probably because of the lesser gain in there in like the 3K area and also in the upper treble. Yeah, if you want a more kind of like neutral sound or more balance with good bass, tight bass, and good treble forward, not really forward treble, but good treble details, you could probably get the Slevo Mark II. If you're sensitive to treble and you want something that is relaxing and soothing and no trebles, then probably the Lush is for you. Another one here is actually the Affle Explorer. I was reminded by by the Apple Explorer when I heard this one because of the tonality. I actually watched Mark's video and we share the same sentiments. I feel like the Explorer for me is still an overall value because it has that character. It has that thickness to its bass and mids that is hard to replicate. I mean, like, I can't think of any other IEMs that does what the Explorer does, if that makes sense. It's just good. I mean, and it's cheaper too. So the graph actually looks like this one here. Let me see. Explorer right there. It's not similar, but it looks like the Explorer there has a more sub bass, but actually the Lush, again, sounds thicker and lusher overall. And I also don't think the treble on the Explorer actually is that dark. I don't know. There's just something about the Explorer that is really, really appealing. And I'll probably choose the Explorer over the Lush on this one here, but they are kind of like in the same ballpark when it comes to tonality, kind of like balance, leaning to warm, or like an L-shaped kind of signature. Moving on to the next one, we have the KE4 right there. KE4 is really strange because look at the graph in there. It looks like the KE4 has a more treble extension, but I don't know, like the KE4 sounded, it was less clear. I mean, like, it looked a lot on graphs, but I don't know, like the treble timbre, it was not there. Probably because of that amount of bass in there. It didn't even sound bassy at all. It was just strange. I didn't really like the KE4. So I'd probably pick the Lush, maybe because it sounds more correct timbrely, like the instruments sound correct, at least for guitars. I mean, not really correct, but close to natural sounding instruments. But then again, you may lose a little bit of clarity in there when it comes to guitar screeches and even snares. With this one here, I'd probably pick the Lush just because it's lusher. And lastly, we have here the Duno Brain Dance, all right? Why is the Brain Dance here? Brain's actually more expensive. Right there. So why is the Brain Dance here? Because look at that. It's not really like similar in tonality, but you kind of like see what is the trend in here. So you see there that there is a more sub-bass emphasis on the Brain Dance, but I feel like the Lush has more impact, and probably because of that relaxed treble. The Brain Dance has a more energetic approach in the upper mids to lower treble, and you also see there a peak past like maybe in the 15K. So I'm comparing this because if you didn't really like the Duno Brain Dance approach to treble, then maybe you can check the Lush because it's cheaper, you know? Like, I feel like both of these are like twins, like the light and the dark. Probably these, you can call this like, you know, like opposite in tonality, brighter and more relaxed. So it's really up to you. If you want a brighter signature, then pick the Brain Dance, which is, you know, much more expensive. Or if you want to stay to the budget, then you can pick the Lush. So yeah, I guess that is it for the Lush, guys. Overall, I think I'm fair in scoring it this way here. Although it didn't really rank an S, only because of that. Like, again, when I switched to my other IEMs, like even with the K-Fine Clean or the cheaper single DDs, I feel a sense of correctness coming from the Lush. And I can't really point why I feel that way. I mean, when I listen to the Lush, they don't really like sound bad. It's just that the presentation is really just different. So if you're looking for something that offers something different, maybe you can consider the Lush. You can consider the Lush. And I think they're right about the tonality in this. It's really lush. Yeah. Why is it even lush though? Like, huh. Anyhow, if you like my content, consider liking, subscribing to my channel. And, oh, next one here, I have the Moondrop Pill. See you next time. Bye for now.